out of milk, and I'm trying to cook something. Now what? I don't have time to go to the store. I pulled out 2 different kinds of canned milk and some instant milk. Ooh. But how do you use them? Do they taste good? Like, are they interchangeable? These are good questions and things we're going to talk about today. You are a glitter bomb of glory, and not like the glitter bombs that they put out there to catch package thieves. Oh, no. You are like the unicorns and rainbows and a kindergartner did an art project kind of glitter bomb. Hey friend, I'm Amy on A Lolly Life. Do you sometimes have trouble remembering if you need condensed milk or evaporated milk? I have to admit that if this didn't say sweetened condensed milk, I would buy the wrong thing frequently when a recipe calls for a canned milk, because I can never remember if it's evaporated or condensed that I need. I only remember because this one says sweetened, and I know whether I need sweetened milk or whether I don't. Both kinds of milk are made from extracting or removing 60% of the water from the milk. So they're a concentrated form of milk. And they're both shelf stable, which means that you can take an unopened can and you can put it on the shelf. They have a best if used by date. This one is February of 2023. And so you could leave this on your shelf until February of 2023 and it would still work okay. Because so much of the water has been removed from the milk, it ends up making it a creamier and more golden in color. The main difference between the 2 kinds of milk is that this one has sugar added, the one that says sweetened. Imagine that, sugar added to the sweetened milk. This one has sugar added to it and this one does not. Interestingly enough, the amount of sugar that they add to the milk is a little bit different for each different brand, and so this brand probably doesn't have as much sugar added as some of the name brands. Just in case you're wondering, you could cut down on the sugar in your recipe by buying an off-brand. After you open these, you would need to refrigerate them, and then you would also have to use them up in a short period of time. The same way you would have to use milk up in a short period of time or it would go bad. Yes, refrigerate after opening. As with any fresh milk, use within a few days. The difference between these is that this sweetened milk, it makes it thicker, a lot thicker. So much thicker that you don't have to shake it. It stays mixed up pretty well. The evaporated milk, you're supposed to shake it before you open it. Actually, it says it on the can. Shake well. So you have to shake this up before you use it, and if you don't shake it up before you use it, there actually ends up being this yellowish kind of layer on the bottom. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the milk. It's just the way that the milk is after you've condensed it and taken 60% of the water out of it. You can easily tell the difference between what is in the cans when you open them up. Evaporated milk, you pour a lot more like milk. Sweetened condensed milk, this one has this thicker consistency and it pours a little bit more like honey. You cannot use these interchangeably because this one is sweet and this one is not sweet. And if you were to use this in a recipe that maybe had called for evaporated milk, you would make it taste weird because it was sweet. This one is only for desserts and sweets. People use sweetened condensed milk to make things like candy and fudge, cookies, cakes, ice cream, those kinds of things. That's what you use sweetened condensed milk for. This one you could use for regular dishes like mashed potatoes or making quiche, sauces. You can also use this in sweet dishes. Any sweet dish that calls for milk, you could use evaporated milk for. But there are some stipulations on how you use this milk instead of regular milk, and we will talk about that in a moment. Evaporated milk has some real advantages to it. You can use evaporated milk in the place of heavy cream. 1 cup of evaporated milk is equivalent to 1 cup. Yeah, they're the same thing, cups and cups. 1 cup of evaporated milk is equivalent to 1 cup of heavy cream. Interestingly enough, heavy cream has 5 times the fat as evaporated milk and twice as many calories as evaporated milk. And so if a recipe calls for heavy cream, you could substitute evaporated milk and it would take the calorie count down. That's kind of good. Evaporated milk can also be used in place of regular milk in cooking. You have to water it down 50-50. So if you need 1 cup of regular milk, you would use half a cup of evaporated milk and half a cup of water. So 1-to-1 ratio for this. You can also use instant dry milk for regular milk. Each brand seems to have their own idea on the best way to mix it up, and so you could follow that, but a good general guideline for it is 1/3 cup of dried milk to 1 cup of water. Canned milk and powdered milk don't taste as good as fresh milk, but that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, because fresh things taste better than not fresh things. However, you will not be able to taste the difference between these and regular milk in cooking or baking, unless of course your tongue has a superpower. And if your tongue has like the milk superpower, where like it can tell, then perhaps you might be able to tell. But that would be like a very rare percentage of the population. Most people will not be able to tell, unless you told them, and then they'll somehow make it up in their mind that they can tell, but they can't actually tell if you don't tell them. If you need to use something like dry milk or canned milk in place of regular milk for drinking or on your cereal, there are a few things that you can do to make it a little bit more palatable. And I will tell you what those are after I let my dog in. Come in, Ranger. Shut the door. Thank you, Ranger. Good job. These milks will taste more like regular milk if they're cold, because, well, regular milk is usually cold. It does. It improves the flavor if it's cold. It also improves the flavor if you mix it up and let it set overnight in the refrigerator. There's something about having it be overnight in the refrigerator. It just makes it taste a little bit more like regular milk. Another thing that you can do, or you're trying to like cut down on your grocery bills by using some instant milk for your regular milk, you can mix it half and half with regular milk, and you can't almost tell. Almost. Like I said, there are people with like superpowers with their tongue where they can tell just anything. But if you don't know, you can't tell. So don't tell your kids and just do it and they won't know. If you're interested in the frosty that I made with the sweetened condensed milk, I talk about that in another episode that I review some ice cream makers, and so you can click on the link in the corner. If it's there, I didn't know if it'll be there because I can't remember which one of these videos comes out sooner, but eventually it will be there if it isn't there right away. Anyway, I talk about that in this other video, and so you can go on that to find out about some different ice cream makers. Plus, I put the recipe for that frosty, it's a copycat recipe of Wendy's Frosties, in the description below. Thanks for hanging out with me, friend, and I have a question. Do glitter bombs of glory sweat glitter? That's what I want to know. Anyway, I'll see you next time.